Good morning. One would like to write that it is really not bad, because most sources do not mention any problems bigger than steamy or damp headlights, average quality of chrome, or water getting into the interior through ineffective door seals. The latter problem mainly affects older models, and incorrectly routed air conditioning ducts. Unfortunately, a moment of digging reveals that there is an additional problem, and a big one at that. It concerns models equipped with panoramic roofs. They should be avoided. Leaks and noises are one thing, but nothing unusual for the Golf VII are cracking plastic panels around the sunroof, or exploding panoramic roofs. I usually don't refer to other models in text of this type, but it is worth knowing that the Golf is not the only VW model with such a problem. For example, in the USA, a lawsuit was filed against the brand in 2017, and sunroofs and panoramic roofs could suddenly fail in, for example, Beetles, Touaregs, as early as 2004, and Passats, both the American ones known as NMS, and the European B6 or B7. In addition, electronics can cause problems, such as a multimedia system that hangs. A reset can help, but only in the short term, or a malfunctioning adaptive cruise control. It can be recalibrated, but it is worth paying attention to this issue, because incorrect ACC operation can be the result of the car's accident history. Sometimes the ventilation and air conditioning system does not demand it, e.g. the blower stops working, or something starts making a lot of noise when the air conditioning is used. It is important to check whether the car has had all the service campaigns, as there have been quite a few, including airbags and seatbelt pretensioners. It would be a good idea to update the car's software to the latest version. This sometimes allows for the cure of various minor irregularities. Here, the comments concern, among other things, suspension noises. One source of unpleasant sounds may be the rear axle shock absorbers. Another, insufficient lubrication of the bushes in the front wishbones. In the latter case, applying the right amount of grease is enough, but to make things less fun, the Hindsguide requires dismantling the wishbones for this operation. In addition, you can also expect, among other things, leaks from shock absorbers or problems with steering knuckles. The 7th generation Volkswagen Golf was offered with the following spark ignition engines: 1.0 TSI from 85 to 115 HP, 1.2 TSI from 85 to 110 HP, 1.4 TGI 110 HP, natural gas powered, 1.4 TSI 122, 125, or 150 HP, the latter only in the hybrid Golf GTE, 1.4 TSI CTIE with low-load cylinder deactivation system, 140 or 150 HP, 1.5 TGI, 130 HP CNG powered, 1.5 TSI-ACT, 130 or 150 HP, 1.8 TSI, 172 or 180 HP, 2.0 TSI, from 220 HP in the Golf GTI to 310 HP in the Golf R. A limited edition R360S variant with 360 HP was also offered in Switzerland. The most important information for many people is that the 1.0, 1.2, 1.4, and 1.5 units are not engines of the not very successful EA111 series. They are engines belonging to the EA211 or EA211 Evo series, all 1.5. In turn, the 1.8 and 2.0 TSI are a newer revision of the EA888 series, known as Gen 3, and practically free of the problem of huge oil consumption. Of course, this oil consumption usually occurs, but within normal limits. It should be remembered that the manufacturer's permissible oil change interval of every 30,000 kilometers or every 2 years will certainly not have a positive effect on the condition of the drive unit, as in any other passenger car engine from any manufacturer. The long life mode can be considered conditionally in cases where the car is driven basically only on the road. But okay, let's take a look at typical faults, and there are exceptionally few of them. Among others, there are mentions of problems with the camshaft phase adjuster in the 1.2 TSI. The case concerns cars manufactured up to 2015. Newer ones should be free of this defect. In 2017, the 1.2 engine was replaced with a 3-cylinder 1.0 with similar performance. It is worth looking for leaks, both oil and coolant. Besides, a large batch of Golf 1.5 TSI with manual gearboxes had a problem with making kangaroos when starting. A software update should help. Sometimes the turbo or water pump does not require it. An interesting fact is that replacing the timing belt in the 1.5 TSI requires the use of an electronic measuring system marked VAS 611007. Something like this is used by ASO-. It allows you to set the camshafts with an accuracy of 0.1 degrees. The following diesel engines were offered in the Golf VII B7. 1.6 TDI from 90 to 115 HP. 2.0 TDI, 150 or 184 HP, the latter in Golf All-Track and GTD. Had the I. Both of these engines, regardless of the variant, belong to the EA288 family and are worth recommending, although the larger engine is usually more recommended. The reason is that the 1.6 has an injection system more sensitive to fuel quality. In its case, mechanics recommend replacing the fuel filter not every 60,000 kilometers, but every 30,000 kilometers. As with modern diesels, problems can be caused by the particulate filter, mainly in older models, the coolant pump, and the head gasket. In the 2.0 TDI, there is an increased risk of failure of the timing belt tensioner. As in the case of petrol engines, changing the oil in the long life mode is not recommended from the point of view of engine durability, although the manufacturer allows it and many users use this mode. The following gearboxes were used in the Golf VII. 5-speed manual in the 85 HP versions of the 1.0 and 1.2 TSI engines in all 1.6 TDI with front-wheel drive, and in the 172 HP 1.8 TSI version. 6-speed manual in all other versions except those where DSG was standard. 7-speed DQ200 double clutch, option for all 1.2, 1.4, 1.5, and 1.8 TSI TGI engines, as well as for the 110 and 115 HP 1.0 TSI versions, and for all 1.6 TDI engines above 90 HP. 6-speed double-clutch DQ250, standard on 1.8 TSI 180 HP, option for some Golf GTI and R variants, and for 2.0 TDI and GTD, produced until December 2016. 7-speed DQ381 double-clutch gearbox, standard on the 2017 to 2019, GTI Performance, GTI TCR and Golf R, manufactured in late 2018, and later. Option on the 2.0 TDI GTD, manufactured after December 2016, and on the GTI Performance 245 horsepower and R 310 horsepower. 6-speed DQ400 double clutch, in the plug-in hybrid with the GTE designation. 6-speed automatic torque converter, available on 1.8 TSI 172 HP, but not in Europe. 1-speed gearbox in the electric e-Golf. It is said directly about DSG, their durability is so-so and they do not like neglect, such as not changing the oil. Possible repairs are also expensive. Of course, durability will depend on the specific type of gearbox, but even owners of the more solid ones cannot skip regular servicing. There are problems with fragile bearings in manual gearboxes. The Haynes Guide also mentions possible problems with engaging reverse gear in manuals, but it doesn't mention which one. However, it does provide the repair kit number, 02T398261, which is not very useful, because if there is information somewhere about which gearboxes this kit is intended for, you can see the designation MQ200-, and there were no such gearboxes in the Golf VII or Golf Sportsfan. There were MQ350, so this repair kit probably fits not only the MQ200, but also the MQ350, and the problem probably affects both 5 and 6-speed gearboxes. Both are marked as MQ350. The drive in the Golf is transferred to the front axle or to both axles via the Haldex system. There are no reports of problems with the drive system. But those interested in DSG must seriously consider such a choice and thoroughly check the condition of the gearbox, and it is not recommended to be interested in cars with a panoramic roof. If these topics are unimportant to someone, the Volkswagen Golf VII should not be troubled by constantly appearing faults. However, it requires an appropriate level of technical and mechanical culture, especially in newer years with more complicated engines. And whether this is a significant problem, everyone must answer for themselves. And if you know of any common errors, your comments are welcome.
Camipro-Website ist Katalog aller Automarken, Motoren, Getriebe. Was bricht und bei welchem Kilometerstand? Welche Pakete können Ihre Tasche hart belasten? Dieses und vieles mehr über Autos erfahren Sie auf Camipro.